Hey everyone, it's Lucky with Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk a little bit about these victims' lives who were just recently taken in San Antonio, Texas. Now, Savanah Soto was 18 years old and she was pregnant. She was past her due date, so they were going to induce her labor on Saturday, December 23rd. Also, there was her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, who there's some rumors swirling around about how Matthew made his money. So today, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the details that we know so far, and then I'm going to tell you what I think happened. Now, Savanah was last seen on December 22nd, and when she didn't show up for her appointment on December 23rd, to be induced for pregnancy, her family got worried and they filed a missing persons report. Now, because Savanah was pregnant and was due to give birth to her baby, law enforcement issued a clear. So law enforcement was actively looking for Savanah Soto at this time. Now, Matthew's parents also became concerned because Matthew and Savanah were together. So Matthew's father, as he stated in an interview, went to the apartment to check on the couple. Now, when they didn't answer, Matthew's father says that he kicked the front door down in order to get inside and, see what was going on within this apartment. Now, when he entered the apartment, Matthew and Savanah were not there, but there was a candle left burning, and Savanah's baby bag, along with her purse, was already packed and ready to go to the hospital to give birth to her son. Now, on December 26th, Savanah's sister-in-law gets a tip on Facebook about the whereabouts of Savanah and Matthew. It's believed that they're in a car that's parked only a few miles from the apartment where they live. So when Savanah's sister-in-law goes to check out the tip, she finds the car and she finds Savanah and Matthew. Now, it's described that Savanah is sitting in the passenger front seat and she has a car seat on her lap. Now, Matthew is in the back seat. He has his pants pulled down around his ankles, and he's sitting in the back seat of the car. So you have Savanah in the front passenger seat with the car seat in her lap, and Matthew in the back seat with his pants pulled down around his ankles. Now, they had both sustained bullet wounds to the back of the head. And law enforcement believed that they could have possibly been in this car deceased for 3 to 4 days. Now, there's a lot of speculation around what could have happened. But I have a pretty good idea about what I think happened. And I'm going to go ahead and share that with you right now. Now, I believe that Matthew and Savanah were set up by somebody who they knew. There's a lot of rumors swirling around that Matthew was involved in the sales of narcotics. Now, even his mom mentions it in a post that she posted when she was looking for Matthew. She talks about what Matthew did to make his money. So I believe that they were set up by somebody who they knew. And I believe that it was possibly going to be maybe a buy, maybe a delivery of narcotics. But I do believe that some individuals contacted Matthew and basically asked him for a ride, or possibly he was going with them to either hand off or receive the narcotics. Now, they were found in Matthew's car. So I would guess that they were in Matthew's vehicle. Now, I believe that they contacted Matthew to possibly come and pick them up. And Matthew agreed to do that, in my opinion. So I think then what happened is Matthew decided to take Savanah. Now, these people that called Matthew probably didn't know that Savanah was coming. So when Matthew showed up to pick them up, Savanah was also in the car. Now, I believe this would explain why the car seat was in Savanah's lap. Because I believe when they got there to pick up these individuals would have needed to get in the back seat. Now, the car seat was probably strapped into the back seat. So they probably took the car seat out of the back seat and put it up front with Savanah so that both of them could sit in the back seat. Now, at this point, I believe that they went to whatever destination that they had talked about or that they had agreed upon. And I believe that this is where it happened. I believe that it happened in the car. I believe that the individuals were sitting in the back seat. And I believe that the individuals knew the victims. Now, although whoever committed these crimes was pretty efficient, they didn't overdo it. I do believe that after they took the victims' lives, that they moved Matthew from the driver's seat, because I do believe that he was driving. It was his vehicle where they found the couple. So I do believe that Matthew was driving. Now, after they took the victims' lives, I believe that they moved Matthew from the front seat to the back seat. And I believe that would explain why Savanah was in the front passenger seat and Matthew was in the back seat of the car. Now, after they do this, they pull Matthew's pants down to his ankles. Now, that's usually a pretty telling sign of what's happening here. It's usually a sign that it's a possible, gang affiliation or possibly narcotics. We've seen this before. This scene is familiar. This is not a unique scene. This is not something that people haven't seen before. So the idea of pulling Matthew's pants down to his ankles is basically to humiliate him in death. It's basically, it's disrespect, which would tell you that these crimes were probably committed in retaliation. So something that Matthew possibly did to these individuals, or, it could be a deal gone wrong. It could definitely be a snitching situation, which, we don't know. That's just my opinion. But in my opinion, this was retaliation. And not only was this retaliation, but this was also meant to send a message, which would also lead me to believe that this was narcotics related. Now, the reason that I believe that this was also a message is because of the way that these victims were found. Matthew was found with his pants down around his ankles. That's a clear message. That's a clear message of humiliation and disrespect. They wanted him to be found in a very disrespectful manner. Now, also, the fact that they were found at all tells you that this was a message. This was a message being sent to other people in the area who were possibly selling narcotics. Now, although it could possibly be a snitching situation, I'm still kind of on the fence about that, because I do believe that if he gave up information on other people in order to get out of jail, I believe that they would have done something to his mouth. So I'm not sure if this is a snitching situation, but in my opinion, this is a narcotics situation. Now, law enforcement released a video, and the video shows what looks like a black truck pull up next to Matthew's car. Now they kind of drive, up to each other side by side, facing opposite directions. And the person in the truck, he gets out and he walks over to Matthew's car. Now, this was just a couple of days before the victims were found. So, in my opinion, at this point, Savanah and Matthew were already deceased. I believe they were basically dumping the car, is basically what they were doing at this point. Now, what looks like, you see what looks like the person in the truck take a towel or some sort of cloth and wipe down the driver's side of Matthew's car, which would lead us to believe that he's trying to wipe away fingerprints. Now, it's a very brief interaction, and then they drive off. And it's at this point that I believe that the car was dumped and the victims were left inside the car. Now, there's rumors that the victims were tied up, but I believe that these crimes happened inside the car. I believe these crimes happened inside the car where they were found. The reason I believe that is I don't believe that they took Matthew and Savanah out of the car, because I believe that if they would have taken Matthew and Savanah out of the car, I don't think they would have left the car seat in the car. I think they would have just discarded it. So I believe that the crimes did happen in the car. So, this is a tragedy. Two young people lose their lives. One person getting ready to have a child of her own. And that child's life was lost as well. So this is a tragedy, and this is real recent, so we don't know a whole lot about it. But from what I've seen and from the details that I've heard and that I've read about, this to me does appear to be a narcotics situation. I do believe that whoever committed these crimes will be caught, because I believe that there's likely DNA inside of Matthew's car that could link to whoever committed these crimes. So I'm going to keep up with this case and talk a little bit about it, as we learn more and more details. As I said, that's what I think happened. I think it's, in my opinion, it's a narcotics situation. And that's what I believe happened. Now, everybody, please have a safe and happy New Year's Eve. This is going to be my last video for 2023. So we'll see you all in 2024. Please like and please subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.